So the last few days in class we have been studying systems of linear equations, and we also call those linear systems. And I've previewed this a little bit. There are three good ways to solve those in Algebra 1. There may be more ways down the road, but right now we have already studied the graphing method. This method is really good if the graph is already done for you. But in terms of handwriting the graph, you may want to stay away from that because sometimes our graphs have little imperfections in them. And so if the graph is not already produced for you, or you can't produce it electronically using a calculator or something of that means, this one is one that you may just want to kind of know that it exists and be able to recognize a linear system on a graph. But handwriting these is kind of dangerous. The substitution method is the one that we're going to study today. This one relies heavily on your ability to be able to solve equations. And if you're really good at solving equations, you may really like this one. And the last one that we're going to study, not in this tutorial, but in the next one, we'll get into the elimination method. A lot of kids really like the elimination method too. So let's take a look at our first here. I know that y equals 4x minus 17, and then in another equation, these are the same y's, the same x's. I'm also given that y plus 2x equals 16.5. Now let's just take a second to try to comprehend that. What are we saying here? Y is the same thing as 4x minus 17. I also know that y plus 2x is the same thing as 6.5. So if I just use my logic here, if y is the same thing as 4x minus 17, then in place of this y, I can simply put 4x minus 17. We remember talking about this because I say if you have equations with two different variables, it's hard to solve that. But if I can rewrite these equations with only one variable, then I can solve it using traditional algebra. So let's take this y right here and let's just replace that with 4x minus 17. So let's rewrite that equation. I'm going to say that 4x minus 17, 17.5, and then continue writing along this equation. Okay, so plus 2x equals 6.5. Now, if I look, I don't have two variables anymore. I just have one, variable x. There's no y in this equation. So now I can solve this just using traditional algebra. 4x and 2x equals 6x minus 17.5 equals 6.5. I can add 16 to both sides. I can add 17.5 to both sides, and I would get 6x equals 24. And then if I divide both sides by 6, I will get that x equals 4. Now I have a value for x. This is where we have to remember to keep going. A lot of students will want to quit here because they say, well, I have an answer here. I have x equals 4. That's fine. Well, that's half the battle. But remember, we have an x and a y up here. So even though I have the x, I need to keep going until I can solve for y. So what we can do, since we have a value for x, is we can take it back up here and plug it into either one of these two equations. It doesn't matter which one we choose, we can go with either one. This one to me looks a little bit easier, so we'll plug it into that one. I'm going to go to a new. Okay, this is the second equation here. I have x equals 4, no y yet. Okay, we're going to come back to that in just a second. So let's say in place of this x right here, we are just going to simply plug in our value for x, which is 4. So now I can say that y plus 2 times 4 equals 6.5. Well, 2 times 4 is 8, so y plus 8 equals 6.5. And if I subtract 8 from both sides, I have y equals negative 1.5. There's my value for y. So my y is negative 1.5. So now I have both an x and a y, and your final answer is presented to your teacher in an ordered pair. So you're going to say x comma y, which is for us 4 comma negative 1.5, and remember the parentheses, and this right here would be our final answer. So now you've had a chance to review. Let me go on and show you how we're going to use this in class. In class, you and a partner are going to use your own tutorial. You're going to create your own tutorial using an iPad, and you are going to take that tutorial and post it out to the web. There's the Earth, and we are just going to post it right out there. Now you're going to have a couple of days to work on this, but you're going to model exactly what I just did for you, and you are going to create your own tutorial and post it out to the web, and then that's how we're going to spend the next couple of days in class. And you can find any of the linear system examples from the book and publish those. You can create your own if you want to, but that's going to be the goal for the next couple of weeks, and I hope you enjoy the tutorial, and I hope you get plenty of time to practice your linear systems. Thanks for watching.